Hello and welcome to yet another Finding Flow follow-along class. Now in this class we're going to take a look at some acrobatic movements, acrobatic transitions, entries into the floor, and generally a very nice practice session to move your whole body in a very dynamic and creative manner. This actually is not the first follow-along, there is already two more, one for beginners, one for a little bit intermediates, and now we have the third Finding Flow follow-along. The other two you can check out by simply clicking up there. They are both about 50 minutes follow-along classes, and they're ideal if you have a little bit of time on your hand, want to be guided through a nice movement session, and that is basically it. Now for this one, we have a couple of cool acrobatic patterns that I want to show you. Everything you will probably now see in a little preview. Cool transitions that are learnable for all of you out there. I will show a couple of variations for every move, so maybe some are a bit easier, some are a little bit more advanced, so hopefully you can follow along and find also some interest and some curiosity in what I'm showing. Also, of course, we're going to take a look at a nice warm-up together and also a nice cool-down. So this session could be a whole complete practice session for you, or maybe something to start your practice session. So by the end of this one, hopefully you should feel super inspired to go into your own practice maybe afterwards, using some of these elements from here in your own unique way. Now, I don't know if it's released yet by the time you are watching this video, but I'm planning on creating another Finding Flow online course that will be fully comprised of follow-along type videos just like this one. So if you're interested in that, simply take a look at the video description and check out if it's already there or not, depending when you are watching the video. But for sure, if you want to learn more, check out all of the free videos that I have uploaded so far on my YouTube channel, the Finding Flow follow-along classes and many other things as well as my Finding Flow online courses, which I will speak a little bit later a little bit more about. But for now, let's directly jump into the class. What you need is a space of, let's say, 4 by 4 meters, maybe even 3 by 3 could work. So even in your living room, you can try to follow along with this class right here. I would recommend to wear long clothes, especially long pants, so we can also be on the ground without getting burns or any sensations of uncomfortableness, right? So this would make sense. If you're practicing at home, try to put away all of the furniture that you have so you can move freely, or as freely as possible. But if you have a nice big space, then you don't need to worry about that. Now, there is chapters in this YouTube video. If you simply put your cursor down and scroll a little bit, you can see all of the chapters, from the warm-up to the acrobatic techniques, transition sequence, everything, right? Okay? So if you want to swiftly navigate through this video, you can always orientate yourself by the chapters. So without further ado, let's directly start. I simply invite you to put your iPhone or your phone that you have on silent and airplane mode, put it aside so you can be fully focused now on the practice and what you are doing. And together with me, I simply invite you to take an upright stance, and for just a couple of breaths, I invite you to close your eyes, finding a very nice, comfortable standing position, and connecting to your breath. And the only task that we're going to be doing for the warm-up is to breathe through your nose, a nice full inhalation, a nice gentle exhalation, and you simply try to observe which kind of movements you can feel that are generated by your breath. So nice inhalation, a nice exhalation, and maybe you can detect some movements in your belly. Maybe there's movements in your rib cage, in your shoulders, so on and so forth. So for simply the next minute, let's stand in silence and try to focus inwardly. Let's take one big inhalation all together. So a very big inhalation starting now. Fully inhale all the air inside of your body. And when you're completely full, simply pause for a moment, air inside of you. And for a count of 5 seconds, let's slowly exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I invite you to open your eyes slowly again, and you will find yourself in whichever space that you're in right now. And to continue the warm-up, we now start to bounce a little bit, simply in the same stance as before, bouncing up and down. And you can already sense which kind of bounce feels best for you today. Maybe it should be a little bit faster one, a little bit slower. Maybe you also want to shift the weight from left to right. So already here, I don't want to give you a very rigid structure, but just ideas to follow. So in this bounce, I'm searching for lightness inside of my body. I'm still connecting to my breath, and I also try to let my breathing flow very easily and unhindered. And the shake maybe inspires me now to put a little bit more awareness in my shoulders. So right now, as I'm shaking, literally in the second, I can feel that the shake kind of wants to travel into my shoulders, and I want to bounce them more up and down. And maybe after a couple of seconds, the shaking sensation would feel better in my arms, so I'd focus on my arms. So now the task for the next minutes is also here to let the shake travel through your own body and see wherever it wants to manifest right now. It could really turn into very awkward, interesting positions. So simply try to observe in what mood your body is right now and what kind of shaking it needs. From the legs to the spine. And this task is super nice to already reduce a little bit of tension that you might carry now in your body. Tension is not a bad thing at all, but sometimes it's a good decision to try to let go of some of it. Right, now if you're by yourself, you can continue this task for a little bit longer. If you wanted to, you can simply pause the video right now. But now we will continue together with a nice swing of the arms. So for this one, I like to be in a about shoulder width stance, okay? But you can also vary a little bit and see what works best for you. And I generate the momentum now from my feet. I really push into my feet, and therefore I can create the spiral that travels throughout my body. My arms are completely limp, and they're only being moved by the power that is being generated from the bottom, from my feet. You can also then try to turn your head all the way. I'm just not doing it right now because I'm speaking to a microphone, and if I'm turning away, the sound gets muffled a little bit. But in the end, it should look something like this. Easy, steady breath. Continue with the spiral for a little while. Try to relax your arms a little bit more and already connect to a sense of continuity in your body. That means something in your body is moving, and when you reach an end point, something else continues to move. So there is never a point of stopping. All the time something is moving inside of your body, and now your task is to connect all of these moving parts so they feel coherent also. And this is what I'm searching now in the warm-up. And all of the things that we're doing, let's try to connect to the sense of continuity. Something moves, something else moves, and I connect them. And already this maybe can create this nice little state of flow inside of your body. Wonderful. We now slowly ebb out of the spiral. Boom, and slowly drop down on the floor into a little squat. And really the first thing that you can do here is be on the balls of your feet and take a moment for yourself to open up your ankles, your knees and hips here. No need to rest in the position fully. Unless you want to, then you are free to do so. But I encourage you now to find some movements and once again the state of continuity here. Now let's use the squat also to already warm up our wrists a little bit. So I'm shifting now the weight more towards the front onto my arms. Like a cat, I'm walking from one hand to the other. And really, I'm careful of where to put pressure, sometimes more into the palm of my hands, shifting then towards the knuckles, or vice versa. So already here, sensibilizing the pressures on my wrist. So in the end, in every acrobatic movements, when I'm on top of my hands, it's not just a stump that I put pressure on. This thing here is alive, and I want to feel it, right? Now from the squat, let's shift the weight a little bit more forwards onto the wrist. So I'm in my quad position, right? The knees are hovering above the ground. If this is very exhausting for you, simply lift your knees up a little bit, but I think we can deal with some tension now, some effort right now. And once again, like a cat, I'm simply walking my hands. I'm taking them on a journey. Steady flow of breath. And what I like to play with, and you can follow me, is with crossing your arms. So we can cross from one side, and we can also cross from the other side. And you can create interesting riddles for yourself here. Crossing and crossing. Your spine is continuing to move and following like a snake, or like a dragon, or like a wildcat, right? Wonderful. We now return back towards the squat. This time allowing ourselves to rest a little bit more in a very low position. And if you can't go that low, this is fully fine. Simply try to go as low as you can. Now from here, I very slowly shift the weight forwards and try to bring my knees very softly towards the ground. And you can also support yourself with your hands here. A nice little touch on the floor. And shifting the weight back, pulling your pelvis upwards and letting your upper body drop forwards. If you can't fully stretch out your legs, this is fine, okay? Simply try to go in here for as much as possible, dropping down, and once again, the knees forwards for a nice little touch. Going back, pelvis goes upwards, upper body drops forwards. Let's repeat it 2 more times. Squatting down, knees forward, into the squat, pelvis goes up, skull goes down. 1 more time, squatting, knees go forward, back into the squat, and into the forward fold. Nice. Now, once again, like before, we find ourselves in the squat position. This time, we can allow the hands to be just a little bit wider. But already here, I want to mention that all of us have unique proportions, a unique anatomy, a unique structure. So if the wider position doesn't feel as comfortable, simply go a little bit closer. Or on the other hand, if you need to go even wider, you can also try that. Now from this position, we can really allow the inner cat to come out. That means on top of all of the crossings that we had, we can now also develop a nice little tail. So here my leg is a tail, and I can kind of run around and try to see if I can look at my tail in various positions. And you can walk around a little bit while looking at your tail. You can cross, and you can even, if you feel comfortable, start to add a little hop. So loading our wrists a little bit more. And the hop doesn't need to be a full handstand, not at all. It is just a little hop. So walking, crossing, and finding a nice little hop here and there. Maybe you can use the hops to also change the position in your room, in your space. A little bit more towards the side, towards the front. Boom, and let's take a little breather. Wonderful. So maybe you can already feel that some of these tasks, especially going onto your hands, can be quite strenuous. And this is, if this is quite new to you, fully okay. So by simply repeating what we've been just doing here might be a great way to further strengthen your structure. So if at this point you want to repeat this, you can simply pause the video and give it another try. Simply letting your inner cat come out. But we now want to continue a little bit. So still, with this shifting of weight from one arm to the other, having the option to cross, and having the option now to also let our tail wiggle around in the space, let's try to now open up a little floor communication task. So simply like a cat, I want to wander around my space, and every once in a while, I add my nice little hop. I try to be low, and I try to use these tasks to find a nice little improvisation. Now also here we can already find the squat with the shift forwards like we did in the warm-up. And then continue. So walking, crossing, uncrossing, until I find my squat and my shift forward. Now you can join me, and I would probably put a little bit of music in the background, so you can also enjoy the music, move to the music, and let's simply have a little bit of fun with this very basic task. Okay, and let's give it a breather together. A couple of steps walking around. I hope that your body feels a little warmer by now, a little bit more activated, a little bit more alive. Now, from this task, maybe you can feel now your muscles, a little bit of soreness, a little bit of tension, so we can simply allow ourselves to slap some of the body parts that feel a little overly activated right now and simply loosen them up, so we can start with some technical studies of some cool moves that I want to show in this class. Alrighty, now first things first, before diving into the technical moves, I want to propose, as always in my classes, workshops, in my teaching, that what I'm showing now are just some technical ideas. In the end, techniques is not what I'm after. I use them kind of like colors in a painting to draw my picture. But just by using colors, the picture in the end probably doesn't have so much soul. So the techniques are nice, they are cool tools. Moves are nice, they're fun, no? And learning them also. But in the end, I want you to also figure out exactly how you need to do the moves, how you need to adapt the moves to your practice so they feel much more alive. And this, of course, is a matter of practicing, of spending a little bit more time with the subject matter. So here is the introduction. Let's start with a move that already connects to this picture of the wild cat, right? I call it the cat leap roll. It looks something like this. And it's a very nice and cool floor-based move transition, and we can break it down very easily. So I want you to start kind of like in a push-up position, but already here allowing your hips to drop down. Now in this position here, there is a very nice entry into the floor that we can choose that doesn't require so much strength. So instead of doing a push-up, we can kind of do like a seal, slowly rolling down on your belly, chest into the floor. And also coming up this way is much easier than doing a regular push-up. So at first, let's simply do a couple repetitions here to get the idea. And then also in the full roll that I've showed, exactly this mechanism of melting into the floor is required to make it super smooth and easy going. Right, now, in order to find a roll, we can't do it with two arms, but we need to be on one arm. So I will find myself now on my left arm while my legs are in a wide position so I can evenly distribute the weight across my limbs. Now from here, the task is to reach around like a cat going for its prey, reaching around my body for as long as I can. I often show beginners this move, and without too much practice, it looks something like this. And they would fall into the floor because they miss a very important detail, which is reach for as long as you can, because the more you reach, the softer it gets. So what I mean by this is we start in our push-up position and I start to reach around. I now let my body sink down into the shoulder and I let my opposite knee connect towards the floor. Now I'm already in a much more easy position. Then, while I continue to reach, I now try to roll on top of my thigh, so even more surface to rest on. From my knee onto my thigh. Now I'm already lying on my thigh and I'm in a very easy position. Now I want to keep reaching, and I will show it now from this position here. I continue to reach while I'm now allowing myself to roll down the side of my thigh until I slowly go into the floor. Now the aim is to never bring your shoulder towards the floor, but directly you want to be on your middle back. And this really is the hardest part of this move to make it super smooth. Now once we're down, I continue reaching with my reaching arm. I find a nice little roll over my body, and I use the arm to directly push up. So now, let's do it a couple of times to fully understand it also. Once again, supporting position. I start to reach. Knee connects to the floor, thigh connects to the floor. I continue to reach, shoulder away, back on the floor, continue to reach, and I can directly push upwards. And then I have the other side. I sink down, I reach, the knee connects to the floor, thigh connects to the floor. I continue, upper back, roll, and I will go. Now, what we're going to be doing for the next, let's say, 3 minutes is a little bit of a practice sprint or a learning sprint. Let's try to get as many repetitions of this move in as possible. Maybe at first you want to take a look at some of mine, and then you can try more and more for yourself, from one side to the other. If it's not fully smooth already, that is fine. Simply try to work with what you've got and make it as smooth as you can. Whenever you need to rest, simply take a breather. Even now, if you wanted to, you could stop the video. You can record what you are doing and take a look at exactly that and maybe compare it to what I'm doing. And maybe through this process, you can find certain things that you could do a little bit better, that you could focus on. But already think about this. You're now in the state of learning something new. So analyzing it too much doesn't make sense. Focus a little bit more on doing, trying to make it as smooth as possible, and the rest will come. Now for the next couple repetitions, let's focus on a little faster throw of the arm. So really like a leaping, a hunting cat going for a mouse or something. So from my supporting position, I reach fully, allowing myself to roll down my thigh, and I catch the momentum with a nice roll. Now, some more details. If you feel or you observe me, while doing the roll, I'm actually doing a little curve. My body is not just rolling like a pencil, but there is a little curve. And this curve happens because I'm actually reaching so far that my body starts to curve. So if I'm showing it to you from the front, from this position, it maybe looks like I'm rolling here. But actually, in the end, I will roll there a little bit more because I allow my body here to curve already. I'm curving so much that my upper body curls inwards. And when I now release my feet, I basically did a 90-degree turn. Now, if you can't do it yet, that's okay. Simply work with what you've got. But if you already have the capacity, maybe try to find this more and more. So from a starting position, you can go 90 degrees, or maybe even reach so much, add so much swing, that you can go 180 degrees. So in this pattern, there's also a little riddle for all of you who can already do it, to find a little bit more spin. Now, when doing movements like this, don't try to get into a state of overexertion. Take enough rest, enough breathers. You're not just working out here at the end, not just exercising, you're learning something. And for that, we need capacity. So give yourself enough time to rest. Now, as always in follow-alongs, if you need more time to practice and study, pause the video and continue. But now let's try to keep going and find a transition into this roll from standing. So it's not just an isolated piece, but we can actually use it in many different circumstances and scenarios. So what I like to do, I like to start in a wider base. Now from this wide base, I reach backwards and find a touchdown with my arm. I then step around with my second leg, and I'm already in a good starting position. Wide base, reach, now I step, and now I can throw the roll. So it would look something like this. And somehow finding a way up to standing again. That is the full task now. Stepping, reaching, stepping, rolling, and somehow up again. Reaching, stepping, rolling, up again. Alright, once again, whenever you need a breather, simply rest for a moment, breathe, take it easy. Now, with the roll that we've learned right now, we can already connect many other elements to it. So for the next section, let's try to find two combinations. So, doing a move that you already know, like a cartwheel, maybe you can do a little macaco, maybe you can do a roll, whatever it is, and try to find a connection towards this cat leap roll right now. A little example could be a little micro cartwheel, finding the transition into our cat leap row. Or if you can do already a basic macaco, you can also do a macaco and continue into the row. So for the next section, 2 moves together, one that you already know, and finding a transition into novelty, into this one. At first I will show a couple, then I will rest, and then you have the time to simply try for yourself. Alrighty people, now slowly come to an end for this exploration. Take a breather, walk around the space, maybe shake your arms, reduce a little bit of the tension. And before continuing, I quickly want to say, because this is my job as a trainer, I provide practice sessions for people out there. I deliver workshops, live workshops. I create online programs so people out there can enjoy basically their bodies in a variety of ways. And if you want to learn more, please check out all of the other videos that I've created so far on the YouTube channel, and also consider purchasing one of my online programs, the Finding Flow online programs. Currently there's 3. The basic program, the integrations program for beginners with a little bit more guidance, and then there's the big acrobatics lab where you can really dive deep into all of the acrobatic elements, starting from beginner things like we did here to much more advanced things. So a lot of opportunity to study. Now if you come from this video and you want to purchase anything, simply use the code YouTube10 and you will get a 10% discount. So another breather, a little bit of walking around before we go into a second element that I want to show for this session. Then we try to bring both together and slowly wrap up the session like this. So for the second element, it's a bit more acrobatic in terms of going onto our hands. Still, it's quite basic and we can learn it quite nicely, but it takes maybe a little bit of courage. So let's see what we can find. So the pattern starts on the floor. I will load my left arm and my right leg, with the left leg being free. Now my aim is to jump with my right leg over the left leg. At the end it looks like this. Quite a cool move that is quite easily to learn. And the way we do it is by doing the following steps. Step number 1. Now from the floor position, I will throw up my left leg, turn my body and land with my left leg. The right arm helps to swing backwards and upwards to gather momentum. So from a floor, I will do this. A very light hop from right leg to left leg. Now join me. We start first on the left side for a couple of repetitions. Throwing your arm up, landing on the left leg. as softly as possible. Once again, connecting to this inner cat. If you trust yourself, you can maybe throw yourself a little bit higher with more standing time, air time on your left arm here. Maybe you can even take it fully up to standing with a little bit of practice. Now let's go towards the right side, so we also practice this. Once again, sitting on the floor, gathering momentum, jumping left, landing right as softly as we can. Maybe you can take it up to standing already. Nice. Now, while you take a breather and relax for a moment, I show you already how we continue. So, from the floor, we do exactly the same thing as before, but now comes the task of jumping over our leg, jumping with the right, landing on the right. Okay? Might seem a little bit scary, but really, if you allow your body to throw upwards with the arm and the free leg, you find all of the height that is needed in order to safely jump over. So something like this. Already take it into standing if possible, and already find a nice turning of your body. So I'm starting facing this way with my body, but then I'm finishing on the other way. Right? Let's practice together. Once again on the left side, throwing up, turning the body. Go as high as you can, as high as you feel comfortable, but don't overdo it at first. It's also okay if you can just do something like this. That's also okay. Let's now go towards the other side. Again, reminding you of the soft landing, just like a cat. The aim really is to find in all of these movements the state of ease, of lightness, continuity and fluidity, right? So a couple more repetitions here. And taking it easy. Shaking out your body, walking around, taking a couple of steps, closing your mouths, and only breathing through the nose for about 30 seconds to recover before we go into the process of linking both of the elements together. All right, people. Now, the next and last chapter of this class is trying to combine both of the elements that we have learned today, and then having a little free play with them. So we will start with the second element that we can maybe simply call leg switch macaco, okay, just for simplicity, a leg switch macaco. So we will start on the floor. I will do my leg switch macaco, and from standing I will once again find the entry into the cat leap roll that we've explored before from standing. So in the end it looks something like this. And back to standing. On the other side. So I will do my leg switch macaco, jumping upwards, switching my legs. I will continue in this way, reach for the floor, step around, and here comes my roll. So for the next couple minutes, I will put on a nice little song, and you have some time to figure this one out. Going from leg switch macaco into the cat leap roll. If you're unsure, simply look at the video, as I will also be demoing some of the repetitions. Enjoy. Now, if you've seen what I've just doing here, I added a little element extra to the sequence, so just a little forwards roll. And this is something that we can do now together to kind of open up the task and finding new transitions and new elements to piece together to the sequence. So it could be a cartwheel at the start, it could be a roll at the end, it could be anything that you want to create a nice little doodle, a nice little sketch, okay? So something like this maybe. A cartwheel, leg switch macaco, cat leap roll, and finishing with a roll at the end. This is just one way, and you can now explore endless ways of going from one element that you know into our sequence and having a nice little play like this. Once again, some music, you will research, you can always take a look at what I'm doing, get inspired, and then practice more by yourself. Okay, people. Now stand up and together with me, take a walk through the space. Once again, closing your mouths, breathing only through the nose. Slowly bringing your body down again, trying to calm your breathing, trying to calm your heartbeat. And just like at the beginning of this class, let's try to find a stance about shoulder width apart, giving you or us together all the opportunity to find a little silence before finishing the class. So closing the eyes, a nice gentle breath, maybe noticing the echo of the session. So maybe noticing how your body is feeling right now, how also your mind and you generally are feeling. Maybe you feel tired, which is okay. Maybe you feel inspired to do more, which is great. And however you are feeling right now is absolutely fine. And we can simply together stand here in silence for a little moment, taking very nice relaxed breaths. One last big inhalation together. All the air inside of your body, full inhale and holding at the top the air inside of your body. And once again, 5 seconds of exhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly, slowly opening your eyes and arriving back at the space that you're in. Maybe giving yourself a nice last big shake or stretch or whatever you feel right now is helpful and feels good to you. And with that, this class is already over. I really hope you enjoyed it and you enjoyed not only the technical elements but also the way that we use them in order to create, let's say, a bigger picture, right? Now, if you like this follow along type content, if you want to see more of this, please write a comment and let me know in the comment section, as I truly I value your opinions, and I also want to create videos that are interesting to you, not only to me. So simply let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, what inspires you, what is helpful in videos like this. All of these little feedbacks means so much to me and also to other content creators out there. Now, once again, reminding you of all the online programs and workshops. If you want to see them, simply take a look at the video description. You will find everything in there. And also hit the subscribe button on my channel so you don't miss out the next videos. This year there is going to be many videos. I plan to do weekly videos, so a lot of content coming your ways with hopefully a lot of inspiring things for you to see, learn, try and practice. That's it for now. I wish you a nice day and see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.